Hi, Capricorn. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, excuse me, and Happy New Year. I know this is uploading late, but it is for the entire year, and I am not just doing main themes. I'm really going into detail for all the signs because it's a lot of big shifts that are happening, and there are a lot of things to discuss. So, you know, I didn't want to do a short scope, and of course, because of all these big shifts, I'm going through my own big shifts, and this is like a second job for me. So, um, well, anyway, like I said, it's a year scope. You can listen to it at any time. But this is the planetary alignments, and I have personalized each lineup for each sign. So that's another reason it took long. So if you want to take a screenshot and then review it at your own leisure, or stop the video and then go along with me, or maybe match it to your natal chart later. Um, so here is February, March, and as you can see, I've highlighted the main because I'll only do the main important aspects that will, because some signs will feel some things more than others. April, and disregard those asterisks; those are my notes. But yeah, you can imagine the asterisks, like three asterisks, is like, whoa, take notice. And that May, June, July, and while I'm moving this so you can take screenshots, if you hear so these are my disclosures. If you hear snoring, it's my pug. I'm sorry. He just likes to be near me wherever I am. And also, this part of the video is not going to be sped up, but I'm working with a generic video editor, so I've sped up the video. So I might sound like, and you can slow that down. Just click on the YouTube video, a tools icon will appear, go into the speed, and you can slow it down if you want. Because if I wasn't to slow it down, it would be way too long for you guys. So I'm not going to have a generic intro. I'm going to just jump straight to your sign. Okay, let me change screens. Okay, so I've titled the uh, 2025 year into three different themes. So we will be discussing the very recent past, because you need to know what's going on, and there's still some factors that are retrograde that are going to affect us, but you need to know how it started. And then we will be thrust into the future. That's the second theme. So that'll be with spring through late summer. And then we are going back to the past, and that'll be the latter half of the year. So there's and you might have heard all these astrologers harping on about, and seeing these written things about big new world, big you, new shit, new this, new that. And it is, yes, it is, because we have one, two, three, four, five planets, um, that five aspects that are shifting after many long years. So for example, the eclipses in the north and south node, they will be changing after 2 years. They were in Aries and Libra, and they are shifting mid-January into Pisces and Virgo. And don't worry about these Aries Libra. I'm going to explain which area of your life that affects. But yeah, after 2 years, we had this stuck repetitive situation. It was karmic in nature. That ends mid-January, and then we start another 2-year karmic event, beginnings and endings. And then Neptune, after 14 long years, will change signs from Pisces, and it'll go into Aries. And again, I'm going to explain which area that is for you. And then a few weeks later, Saturn, after 2.5 years, will change from Pisces to Aries. And then we have the planet of shock, surprise, and electricity, Uranus. That will move from Taurus to Gemini after 7 long years. And then, of course, we have Jupiter, after a year being in Gemini, will complete its tour of Gemini in June and will enter Cancer. So, yes, huge shifts. And not to undermine Pluto. Pluto has changed signs very recently. just the end of November last year, has changed from your sign into Aquarius. And that was after 18 long years. So that's why it's huge, huge shifts. And I will be discussing Pluto and Aquarius right now, but in a very short scope. I'm not going to go into details because I have completed a dedicated Pluto and Aquarius scope for each sign, but I chose not to upload it. Well, the video contains, it takes you 5 years into the future with Aquarius. And because it's a 20-year transit. And I thought, just doing a year scope is not really give you anything to hold on to understand what it's all about. So I thought 5 years was the magic spot. And I chose not to upload it yet because of all these huge shifts. I didn't want it to be lost um, or confusing. Plus, I wanted to get these yearly horoscopes out of the way. And as you can see, we're already in the end of the first week of January. I have Aquarius and Pisces after you. Woo. All right, so Pluto and Aquarius. Um, Pluto Aquarius is your second house of job, income, and your value system. It's plain and simple. The second house can also encompass marriage. All right, but Aquarius is very, very different from your sign. It's an air sign, so it's very uplifting and very fast. And I've explained some more in November about Aquarius and Pluto in your second house. If you wanted to listen to that and not wait for the dedicated video, but hopefully you're subscribed, and when the dedicated video drops for Pluto and Aquarius, you're notified. But you got a taste of it early in 2024 when Pluto did dip into Aquarius, and then it retrograded back into Capricorn. So um, Aquarius is all about freedom. It doesn't like boundaries or rules or restrictions. And that may be a little tough on you because you do like to work, sorry about that, within rules and boundaries. You're ruled by Saturn, the planet of restrictions and boundaries. Um, and because of money, um, there may be some, steep learning curve regarding mostly about how you value money, how you make money. And because Aquarius is about natally, it's the 11th house of groups, circles, um, and friends. But it's all about, working. You get rewarded only if you're working for the benefit of everyone. So you might have some a learning curve regarding my money, your money, or our money, my money. Because because with Capricorn, it is all about money, 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 money. You were conditioned, raised to be like, this is yours, this is mine, this is, um, and because you are so dependable, and you do take care of maybe more than one person currently besides yourself, security is really important to you, um, and that is why you don't like sharing money, because you plan, and if somebody else is dipping into your money, you panic because you can't account for. You don't like instability. You don't like surprises. So somebody dipping into the money or having a say so regarding money that is yours, or what have you. Even if you take care of someone else's money, you want to be the sole one who's doing that, and that is what Aquarius is going to try to teach you. What it's going to try to teach you is you get more if you not really share, but um, if everybody has a say. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, the other thing about Aquarius is that many of you have left a job. If you don't have a job yet, you will very, very soon. I would be surprised if any of the Capricorns don't have a job currently. But if you don't, I mean, there's millions of Capricorns. If you don't, you will be getting a job. Um, some of you are switching jobs, and you've already gone through maybe the interview process and all that, and you are starting it very, very soon, or you've already started a new job. And this job could have come through like a circle of friends, a group, some kind of an association helped you. And it was fast because that's how Aquarius works. So, so let's talk about when Pluto first stepped into Aquarius. I don't want to go into too much detail, but just to help you, when Pluto first entered Aquarius in January 2024, and until it turned retrograde, you might have been of two camps. One is you probably came into a lot of money, or maybe there was a temp job or an internship, something where you gained a lot of money. You came into a lot of money. Excuse me. Um, and you started planning for the future. Again, you're all about security and making sure you're the goat. You climb the steepest cliffs and you don't want to fall off. Or if and the other camp might have seen a loss here. Okay, um, again, if it was a job loss or losing a lot of money or something, that was your wake up call. That was when you were like, oh, okay, this is not good, and you started looking into jobs or changing careers, or your expenses were becoming greater and your job wasn't cutting it, and that's when you were like, I got something has to change here. um, that song reminds me of you. I want to be a millionaire so freaking bad to buy up all the things I never had. See there, I sang for you too. Only Virgo and you I sang for, and I can't sing. In any case, that's what's going on with Pluto and Aquarius. And definitely, it's a 20-year transit. So, definitely, your value system here is going to come into play. Fear of insecurity, of security, of not having, feast or famine type of deals. Um, and any any impulses you might have of being maybe ruthless. I mean, you are a very compassionate sign, Capricorn. Don't get me wrong, but you tend to have sometimes, every sign has a dark side of them. So any ruthlessness you might have, or manipulative things regarding money or a job or your values, you're going to take a huge hit. So watch for that. But that's what Pluto will teach you, and that's what Aquarius will also teach you. But I'm going to discuss first the very recent, just before Pluto went into Aquarius, when it was finishing up with your sign. It was going over the very critical 29, what we call the very critical 29th degree of a sign. And Pluto, of course, is the god of the underworld, the god of destruction and transformation. Um, he was, let's see how to put this. He ruled a different realm than his two brothers, Zeus and Neptune, and he was powerful enough to permeate both realms. Whereas no other god could go down to the underworld and not and expect to leave, except for Mercury, because Mercury is the messenger of the gods. So Pluto was not even on Mount Olympus with Zeus and Neptune and the other gods. So Pluto also rules loneliness, being alone. And Capricorns are very famous to be, they don't like to bounce ideas off of or discuss. Uh, there are who, Capricorns who discuss and trust others, but like deep down in what you feel, what you fear, what that you don't like to discuss. You like to be alone and think it through. And Pluto rules fear because he was the god of the underworld, so everyone feared him. But he was an extremely powerful uh, god, small g, and he rules control and power plays. And you're the sign of conservatism, tradition. Um, you're the half goat, half fish. The old renditions of Capricorn is that it's not just a goat. So you can swim down to the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean, and yet you're a social climber. You can hike the steepest cliffs. That's an analogy. As the goat can and will not fall off. Why? Because you're slow and steady, accounting for every mistake. So that when you get to the top, no one can really knock you off. And if you see a goat, uh, they never fall. Every footing is strong. And you are a winter sign, so winter is dark and cold. So you're very reserved. You don't show emotion. Again, you don't show emotion because um, you are sort of the dependable person that will always come through. You are seen as steady and strong. Um, However, you are very, very compassionate, um, and this journey with Pluto in your sign has been extremely heavy for you because your image, your appearance, your essence, your profile, the way people see you has always been um, criticized, tested, um, and deconstructed, and whatever fears you have had with that, Pluto has brought it up to about face, so that you can face that and get your power back, because that's where our power is our fear, oddly enough. So the easiest example is when you go into a dark room and the door is shut behind you. You're fearful. You extend your arms so that you don't knock into anything. But if you stay still, the light in the back of your eyes does start to make out objects and walls in front of you. And thus, you have no more fear. So that is where your power is. So if anyone holds you hostage over something, if you keep hiding or fearing to confront it, they'll always have that power over you. But once you face it and say, yeah, okay, I am like that, whatever, then you have control. They can never use that against you. So what I'm trying to convey is Pluto. When I'm saying stay still in that dark room, that's how to win Pluto's acclamation, or win Pluto over, is by self discipline, sheer restraint. When you do that, you pass Pluto's test. So, nonetheless, you have gone through a really, really tough ordeal with this, but you can breathe again now. That is gone. That is finished. Something ended here. But because there were other planets doing other things, you had you lost relationships, you lost friends. You One main one, and I'll discuss it right now, is crucial to you, but I'll discuss that. Um, and you have also realized behavior, regrets, or strengths. Um, and for most of you, during this transit, because Saturn, you're ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is like the strict father. So you have become some sort of a parent or protector. You had that experience during this transit. So the famous showdown, the famous fight between Mars and Pluto. Mars came into Cancer at the end of September, and Cancer is your seventh house of partners, whether they be business, intimate, platonic, or anyone who knows you really, really well, who can hold up a mirror to you. So your brother can be a partner, your friend can be a partner, um, your parent can be a partner. So anyone who would be considered a partner. So and Cancer is opposite your sign. So this energy was coming at you. There was some sort of heat, intensity, uh, arguments, discussions uh, with a partner. And because it's Cancer, Cancer is natally rules the home and family. And Cancer um, is the mother, the nurturing mother. Leo is ruled by the sun, and Leo is the nurturing father. So a partner could have been either a mother or a matriarch, a powerful matriarchal figure, but a nurturing one. Okay, so yeah, there was some heat and urgency here. Mars is the god of war. He rules fiery Aries. Mars does not know anything except forward motion. I remember in my Catholic school, high school, there was a nun who would be like, uh, walk with a purpose. And she was French, so there was an accent. But that's what Mars is. If you're going to do anything, you do it with purpose. So, for example, Mars will ask you, what do you want? And you'll say, I want that. And he's like, all right, let's go get it. And he doesn't care who is in the way, whether it is a uh, giant fire breathing dragon or a baby. He just tramples right over and goes. Um, so you had a lot of heat, maybe verbal arguments, fights, and discussions from this partner. And it could have been a woman or a mother figure. And then it came smack into Pluto, and Pluto was in your sign. So there on November 3rd, exact. The degree was exact. Some of you might have felt it before, or right at that November 3rd, or maybe even after, depending on your natal chart and your rising sign. But there was an explosive fight, and it could have been an emotional fight. Uh, but something broke, something ended. Okay. And there were other things going on. But then Mars went into Leo, and that opposition is still going on. Uh, and Leo is your eighth house of joint finances. of the mortgage, taxes, government benefits, um, inheritance, the past, things like that. And Leo is the father figure. Leo also rules the fifth house of love, romance, and children. So there was a tension also with some sort of male figure that was involved in all this. Okay. And then Mars started retrograding. And Mars will be in Cancer and Leo for a good 6 months because he's going retrograde. And Mars rarely goes retrograde. Even when he goes retrograde, not for 6 months. He's going to be in these two signs for 6 months. He's going to go back and forth over these degrees because these are important situations for all of us. It's not going to only happen to you, for all of us, because you don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. And especially for you, um, home and family and the mother or father, these are really important relationships for you. They center you. But none, what was happening was there was you or the others were in some kind of a speed to do something. And that may have been, I don't want to say mistake, but it could have been the common factor that resulted in this fallout. So then we went into December with some sort of compromise being presented the first week. And then by the solstice, by Christmas, there was another further discussion about a compromise or a solution. And then finally, on a New Year's Eve, we had a new moon in your sign. And it was something, a third compromise or solution or resolution, or seeding the hope of a new way forward that will manifest with the full moon in your sign in the very near future. Or the energy can take 6 months or more. All right. And I'm not going to revisit anything else in that because then we are up to January now. And I will go over your January scope because this is January 2025 and year ahead. And after I finish January's scope for you, we will get into more detail about these changing new themes for 2025. At the end of that, I will go over the yearly calendar, but only the major aspects that you will feel more. Let me just make sure I covered everything with that. Yes, and bear with me if you guys. Some of you are pros at astrology, but for the sake of new listeners or for the novices, that's why I do detailed and I just give you a backstory. So bear with us when I do that for our new listeners and novices. But we are now on to January. Okay, so January 2nd, right at the beginning, we saw Mars now going retrograde in Leo, oppose Pluto in Aquarius. Again, Leo is your eighth house of joint finances, um, government benefits, and inheritance, and all that. Um, that opposed Pluto in Aquarius. And Aquarius is your second house of job, income, and your value system. So take note of this because that will play out probably in the future in somehow. But Mars does not like going backwards. He absolutely hates it. Um, and when some planets, when they go retrograde, they actually are more powerful. Um, he's drudging. Still moving forward, but drudging through like mud because it's retrograde. He's probably, like I said, to the other side, tunneling through to get to Pluto so he can get him back for that fight. Um, but what I'm trying to convey to you is that this is now an internal struggle. Okay, so something about joint finances, intimacy, and intimacy can be sex, yes, but it's a true intimacy, bearing your soul, and something regarding your values or your income. And you do not want to push here. I know this has already happened, but uh, you can't stop these actions. Predictive astrology is not for me to tell you what's going to happen and you try to stop it. It's not going to be stopped. You're meant to go through that so that you can evolve and transform. Uh, but at least you'll understand what is happening, even if you hear it at the end of January. So Mars retrograde is what you want to do is you don't want to push because the energy is inward now. You don't want to push. If you push, you get pushed that much harder back. Okay. On the second, Venus entered Pisces. So Venus attracts love, romance, fortune, money, fame, and adoration. So Pisces is your third house of communication, community, the neighbors and neighborhood can also include siblings and cousins. any extended family, your vision, eyesight is covered here. Social media is also covered. Language, different than your own, um, and commuting. So if you had any issues with any of these things, Venus is now smoothing that out and or bringing money to you through these avenues. On the 6th, Mars um, will is still retrograding back, but it finishes retrograding back from Leo and it enters Cancer. It's going to start retrograding back into Cancer. So you are going to revisit, rediscuss, redo, or anything in or a reversal regarding whatever fallout you had with a partner or partners. It can be business, platonic, or intimate, or anyone, like I said, who knows you really well. And since Cancer rules the family and the mother, it might be your mother or a powerful matriarchal figure. On the 11th, the lunar nodes, the North Node and the South Node, will leave Aries and Libra, which they've been there for 2 years, and will enter Pisces and Virgo. Aries is your home and family, and Libra is your 10th house of career status and reputation. So you've had an ongoing issue, one particular issue probably for the past 2 years between home and family and something about your career, your status, your reputation. And then that repetitive ongoing issue that you've had for 2 years magically disappears. And I'll explain later when I explain the nodes. Because then the North Node will enter Pisces and the South Node will enter Virgo. And I'll explain more on those. Now, on the 13th, we have a powerful full moon. And the full moon is in Cancer. Again, Cancer is your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, um, inheritance, and all that. And again, Cancer is natally the home and family, and especially the mother. There's an ending here, but it's at 23 degrees. That's one. And it's not an eclipse. So um, it's not a full ending, like it's gone, bye bye. No, it's it's some type of ending. It might be a culmination to your past efforts, excuse me, or a fruition of your past efforts, because this is an ongoing story. Like I told you, Mars is still in Cancer all the way through to April, I'm sorry, March, April, yeah. Because it's at 23 degrees and not the critical 29th degree, um, one aspect of an issue you had will end here or come to fruition. On the 14th, Jupiter in Gemini will square Venus in Pisces. And Jupiter is in Gemini. That is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling. If you take care of anyone, um, it can be pets too in this house. And I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. 14. Did I make a mistake? No, I didn't. Okay, so so something attention with a schedule or routine, and it is in regards of your commuting or neighborhood that is tensing up and that you're working on to smooth over. Okay, um, yeah. So that's on the 14th. On the 11th, the lunar nods. Oh, I mentioned that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So on the 16th, here is the main important thing. On the 16th, the Sun in Capricorn will oppose Mars in Cancer, and Mars is retrograde in Cancer. So this is an illumination because it's the Sun, um, not only for you because maybe something was missed about you, but it's an illumination for you and others regarding this issue you have been having with a partner or partners, and and if it includes a matriarch here. There are good oppositions and there's challenging ones. This might be a good opposition because, like I said, Cancer rules the mother and the Sun rules the father. So it is in both in their interests for each one to gain and not lose here. Even though it's an opposition, it's not a square. Even though it's like my way or the highway, but there are some good oppositions here. So it is in in your interest and this other partner's interest for both of you to gain here. Um, and you know what? It looks like it's coinciding um, with this full moon in Cancer, and it's hitting your, because Leo is your eighth house of joint finances, and you have your sixth house of taking care of people. So this might be a really good opposition. Something comes through where this burden you feel because the sun is in your sign is somehow lifted halfway. Someone comes in, and this full burden you have somehow is like halved. So look to that date. On the 18th, Saturn will conjunct Venus in the sign of Pisces. And that is your third house of community, neighborhood, and communication. So, first, Saturn absolutely adores Venus, thinks of her almost like his daughter. Um, and Venus has been smoothing or bringing in money, like I said, through your third house of community, close community, or associations. So this aspect may be like a stern disciplinary father figure type, because Saturn is something of that. Or you may be that stern father figure because you're Capricorn and ruled by Saturn. Um, that is either taking you under their wings, if it is a father figure thing, or an authority figure, and trying to teach or show you boundaries um, regarding your third house of neighbors, siblings, cousins, um, and all that good stuff. Okay, or maybe teaching you something, because it's about a loss or a secret. Because Pisces also rules, the 12th house of secrets, faith, and all that. So might be about a loss or a secret or blind compassion you may have or your partners have. Or you might see it as this father figure. If it's a 10, it's coming off tens, you might see this as this father figure doesn't understand you or is withholding compassion or love. Or you may think he is being maybe deceptive in order to communicate something that he knows you may not like. But he's not trying to fool you, but he's trying to maybe tell you something that's not really fully truthful for your own good. Maybe he's giving an example. I'm not sure is what I'm saying, but it is maybe that tension is that you realize that um, because it's your third house, maybe the body language, because that is in the third house too. But there is still love here because, like I said, Saturn loves Venus. But it might be a confusing tension, but it is coming from love and compassion. Or you can be like realizing that this partner who is like maybe a father figure or your own father is the only one you can rely on. Or if it is not your father, you can realize that you have been projecting maybe any father issues onto this father figure. Like you may get a flood of memories regarding past male or authority figures. And they may be siblings or cousins or even friends, and how you may have idealized them to be a father figure or a protector. Okay, so be aware of that. Okay, so on the 21st of January, the sun will conjunct Aquarius. Aquarius is your second house of job and income. So something, sorry, is illuminated here regarding your job, career, your income, or your value system, or how you value money, or not. But you are a Capricorn. Money and security is king for you. So, um, but it's how you value money. Like I said, if you are being a little ruthless, this can be somewhat of a tense aspect if you see this as maybe criticism, because again, the sun is the father, or it can be a father figure is maybe defending you or helping you think or communicate differently regarding maybe a fallout um, with your money or your values, or if you are maybe being led astray or harassed. This father figure might be defending you, or it can be you are diligently working, learning, or communicating something regarding your values, and it might be an internalized conflict. The only thing I will asterisk here is this is tense because it's Pluto and the sun. And the sun is just as powerful as Mars is. Um, if this father figure, um, um, mm, 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 mm. if you had this fallout, and this fallout was with is this matriarchal figure or a female, or because this female is quite important to you, um, and there may be two females in the picture. So I don't know, maybe your mother and sister, maybe your mother and your wife, or if you're the man, if you're the woman, it can. translate to the same thing. But if this fallout was with that, of course, the sun is always opposite the moon and it's away from the moon. Um, just remember that there's always a conflict between the sun and the moon, between the father and the mother. They want both good. They want both good, but they want it in different ways because both see different things. And if it is not your father, if it's some type of a father figure, um, I would be doubly careful here because he really doesn't know. Let's say this female figure that's prominent in your life as intimately as you do. Um, and again, it is Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto's going to keep testing you here. Um, so you just don't want to set yourself up for something. Anyway, look for my dedicated Pluto and Aquarius videos. That'll really help you guys. So hit that subscribe button. So on the 23rd, Mercury this time in your sign will oppose Mars in Cancer. Um, Okay, so whatever was illuminated, that opposition that was illuminated between the sun in your sign and Mars in Cancer, now, if it's a challenging opposition, this will be a verbal conflict. And remember, Mars is retrograde in Cancer. If you're going to push, you're going to get pushed that much harder. So, uh, so just well, I'm not too worried because Neptune is in your third house of communication. So you do have this compassionate communication style to you now. But just be aware if it's a challenging opposition, if it was a challenging opposition and not a good opposition, there will be verbal conflicts, and you do not want to push. But if it was a good opposition, then this Mercury rules communication, thinking, contracts, and agreements. So this can be discussion regarding that good opposition and a way forward. All right, on the 29th, there is a new moon in Aquarius. And take note, Capricorn, a very nice opportunity regarding your job and income if you're unemployed. Or you might be starting a new job or getting a new job interview. And it might be an anxious feeling, though, because um, it's Aquarius. Aquarius is super fast. And like I said, you're a little slow and steady. And it might be an ingenious or a flash idea because Aquarius is the genius of the zodiac. Um, or it might be the hope or seeding a new way regarding a job or a career. Um, because it's a new moon. It could be inclusive or coming through from a group of friends, a close circle of community, a camaraderie you have with, but it is regarding a theme of group effort or a circle of people familiar to you. And the theme is, if, like I said, work together for the benefit of not only you, but everyone. I'm not saying work and give your money away. That's the last thing I would say to a Capricorn. I'm saying you might be in a field or a career where you're helping a community or others, and that's how you get paid. Okay, so if that opportunity comes knocking, grab it with both hands, because that is what your future is. You're going to be making a lot of money. Capricorns are set to be the next millionaires. There you go. Or at least very comfortable. On the 30th, the sun in Aquarius trines Jupiter in Gemini. So sun illuminates the new moon idea regarding job, career values. You feel you are seen as valuable, and it is in regards to your also your health habit, a routine or a schedule. So naturally, if it's a new job, you get a new schedule. Um, this new job career is like here, because it's a beautiful trine and it's Jupiter. Jupiter is huge. It feels like Cinderella's shoes. It's the perfect fit, at least for now. So yeah, you'll be enjoying this new schedule or health routine. And then on the 30th, Uranus. Oh my God, Uranus, the planet of shock, surprise, and electricity, stations direct in Taurus. La, 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 la. All right. So again, if you're a new listener, this is very important. I harp on about planets stationing direct or stationing to go retrograde. Pay attention to these days, a day before, during, or after, because when these planets are just the vibration is immense. And when they station something, a veil is lifted. You get a sneak peek of how it's going to proceed. And in this case, pay extra attention because Uranus will be leaving Taurus this year after 7 long years. So there's a climatic ending. So pay attention because then you get a sneak peek of how this ends. Taurus is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and even gambling is included here. Um, and Uranus is unpredictable. So you get the universe, especially for people who don't like surprises, the universe is giving you a sneak peek here of this ending. Okay, I'd love for you guys to comment on what happens. All right, so that ends January. That completes your January scope. I am going to continue with the major themes that you will see the huge shifts in. Um, and like I said, the karmic eclipses ends their tour of Aries and Libra, your fourth house of home and family, and your career, your status, your reputation. This stickling issue that you've been at odds with the push and pull, the tug of war you've had for the last 2 years with between your home and family and your career and reputation. That magically ends, Capricorn, on the 11th, whatever it is. It either gets resolved or it just magically disappears. And I don't know. These planets, the, their movements and their aspects, somehow we're synchronized with them. And if you were to ask me, I don't know how it, but it happens. So something ends that's been repetitive and karmic. Then the North Node will enter Pisces, your third house of communication and community and social media. And the South Node will go into Virgo, your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, foreign lands, higher education, publishing, and the World Wide Web. And I can tell you guys, for most of you, you will be traveling or setting up a home. Um, this, but it's well, I'll explain that because that's huge for you. There's going even if you've moved, you're going to move again. So now, in any case, now we're going to see major beginnings and endings, karmic in nature, regard between these two houses. Okay. And to get a clue, think back to September 13th, 14th, 15th. We had a partial solar eclipse, some sort of a mini new beginning or a teaser of a beginning in your third house of neighborhood, communication, siblings, and what have you, social media. So that might give you a clue. But we're going to have uh, more eclipses, lunar eclipses, which are endings, solar eclipses, beginnings in both these houses, clearing out the past to bring in the new for the next 2 years. And think about 18, 19 years ago, because it's karmic. It's karma from then. You either owe or you are owed. And the next huge shift, the big one, besides Pluto leaving Capricorn, is Neptune. After 14 long, very long years, um, back in Valentine's Day 2012, entered Pisces, again, your third house of community and communication. And and Saturn, well, I'll talk about Saturn a little bit later, but uh, Neptune rules, again, for the novices and newer listeners, please bear with us. Neptune rules idealism. It romanticizes. Um, it 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 makes you yearn for something, a longing. Um, it gives you some sort of a vision to go off of. Okay, and Neptune rules the ocean, the very vast ocean, seas. It rules the oil industry. It rules the music and Hollywood industries. It rules fragrances. Um, it rules alcohol, drugs. It rules the past. It rules faith. Faith is huge here, whether you're religious or not. And any confining spaces, any alone time. It rules your psyche, okay? And Neptune also rules like fog and gives you those fog, rose colored glasses to look through. So it can be a rule illusion and deception. But each of these planets have a purpose. Neptune has a purpose. And the easiest example I will tell you is like, for example, if you try to go into a swimming pool or the ocean to swim, at first it's freezing, absolutely cold. But once you dip inside, your entire body goes inside. That's it. That freeze, that goes away. You're almost numb. And that's what Neptune's job is. For something that is harsh for you or unbearable, um, or what have you, and that you need to go through it to evolve and grow, but it might be traumatic or harsh. Neptune makes you numb. It romanticizes it. You see the very compassionate side of it, the good side of it. So you can with Neptune also, it's the mermaids' sirens that calls out to the sailors and they get lost at sea. That too. So since 2012, your communication style, your neighborhood, the neighbors, your community, but this is a close circle of community, um, your thinking, uh, siblings and cousins, extended family, your vision, social media, um, writing, teaching, but on a micro level. So since 2012, these things became almost um, idealistic. You had a vision of them, and you romanticized them. Um, but because it's the ocean and Neptune was in its home sign, it entered its home sign of Pisces. The two fishes, let alone one goes this way and one goes that way. And if you ever try to catch a fish, you can't, of course, because they're very, very slippery. So something kept slipping through your hands regarding communication or neighborhood or community. You try to like hang on to it, but it's it dissolved or something. So it became sometimes confusing, but it was a feel good for you. It was some sort of an escape, like a vacation. Um, and it could have weirdly affected your friendships or wanting approval. Uh, you wanted to hang with a popular group. In any case, that was, what Neptune was doing. Then in 2023, Saturn came in with a thump and said, "All right, Neptune, you've gone way too far with this," um, and threw you an anchor, excuse me, and started pulling you back to shore because you were getting lost at sea. You were having problems. You were having problems with maybe theft or deceit of some kind, or never realizing the vision, the idealistic, romantic vision you had. And you were just getting, there were no boundaries. So, what Saturn did, Saturn is the planet of restriction, constraint, withholding. But he's super misunderstood because he's super, super beneficial. Why? Because he gives you structure and foundation, solid, not like Neptune's dissolving, sand where it gets washed off and you go deeper and deeper. And you're used to Saturn, you're ruled by Saturn. So you started seeing problems, restrictions, um, issues regarding community, regarding, you started seeing your neighbors who were like were just, the apple of your eye maybe. In the past, you started like being, oh God, what's going on? You realized, uh, most significantly, if it was about friends or your circle of community, you saw that the popular friends that you were so yearning to befriend turned out to be actually, um, I hate saying good or bad, but for a lack of better words, and I don't want to keep slowing down this video, you saw those popular, those friends, the community that you wanted to be a part of, turned out to be air quotes bad or bad for you, and you realized that the not very popular friends, the ones who were probably a little broken, um, and that you kept your distance from, you realized those actually were the good friends, air quotes again. So you lost friends within the last 2 years. You started disliking your neighborhood. You're commuting. You started something. Maybe you went through a lot of traffic you in the last 2 years, and you're like, no, 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 no. So that's what has been your journey through Neptune and Pisces. And then Saturn came in and started structuring this. And actually, why I say Saturn is beneficial is also because he helps you manifest your dream, your vision, your idealism. He helps you manifest that. And like I said, for some of you, you have moved, but hold on to that because you're going to move again. All right. So Neptune, I think as early as spring, next month, maybe even at the end of next month or something, will leave Pisces and enter Aries. And that's a huge shift for you. Okay. Um, and Aries is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your country, your patriotism, your clan. The fourth house, Capricorn, is very, very, very emotional. It is a deeply rooted house. It is your conditioning. It is your roots. It is your safe space. Um, It is what made you who you are. And not only you, all of us have had, we're humans, and we haven't evolved yet to be the perfect species. So we all have dysfunctional families. But for you, you might have, uh, well, for all of us, but because we're talking about your fourth house journey here, you might have repressed something that may have been traumatic. You might have seen it as being traumatic. You might have, kept it in the basement, in a in a in a box with chains around it, and you're like, that is it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it anymore. Um, and and it could have coincided when Uranus entered Aries back in 2010, 2011. And Uranus is the planet of shock and surprise, and Aries is a fire sign, me first, ruled by the god of war. So, to give you an example, is when Uranus first entered Aries, it was right exactly the minute and the degree that the Fukushima nuclear explosion happened. That was Uranus in Aries. So, your home and family, for those 7 years, you saw some explosive shifts, abrupt changes. Um, you could have moved countries, you could have moved states, but only to settle in, only to move again. You could have lost one of your parents. A divorce could have happened. Um, one of your parents could have gone through a lot of weird things that you were, subjected to. Um, a lot of you could have dealt with a parent going through drug or alcohol abuse. There was a lot of like really fiery shifts and changes that happened with your home and family. And because you're a Capricorn, because you adore stability for peace of mind, otherwise you lose it. It was a really really difficult transit for you, and you might have buried something or a couple of things. So Neptune here is going to come in and give you a vision of what you yearn for regarding a home and family, regarding parents. You might become, that ideal parent. You might start acting that out. Uh, and Neptune will idealize, well, it's Aries. So Aries is a male energy, it's a fire sign. Like I said, it is ruled by the god of war, Mars. So the theme here is the warrior. Um, Aries absolutely works for the underdog, it fights for the underdog. So the idealism, the romanticization will be of the compassionate hero. The compassionate warrior, rather, the hero archetype. Okay, and even if it's a female, it'll be like the Joan of Arc type of deal, Robin Hood, and so on and so forth. So, and in regards, because your home and family is expanding, and there's something of a new family member joining, or a blending of families, some theme like that. um, so that, and you have your issues with family, Neptune is going to, like, yeah, create fog around here. But have heart. It's not going to be like Pisces. It is Aries. It's a fire. It's fire. So it's going to be very exciting. And second thing, Saturn this time is saying, "Oh no, no, Neptune, you're not going here alone." And I'm not going to let you have your way with Capricorns for 10 years before I come in with reality checks. Oh no, I'm coming in now, and make sure you behave. So Saturn will also a few weeks later leave Pisces, and you'll see, your restrictions about community and all that end, and then it'll enter Aries. And then here, Saturn is going to create some restrictions, but for your benefit. He's going to give you tools. He's going to give you that anchor to throw whenever you get too lost at sea, and you can pull yourself back. Uh, but he will give you boundaries so that, people don't walk all over you or in and out of your home that are, that might be nefarious, nebulous, get it, Neptune, fishy. Just be careful of any slanted eye family members that have slanted eyes. They'll be Neptunish. No, I'm joking. uh, I get on a roll sometimes. All right. So yeah, so he'll come in the beginning and give you those rules and those tools. Okay, and the next major shift will be Uranus, that has been in Taurus for the past 7 years, will leave Taurus and enter Gemini. Taurus is, sorry about that. Taurus is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. And you have had um, surprises, shifts, abrupt shifts, shocking surprises, genius surprises regarding this area of your life for the past 7 years. Some of them could have been really challenging and difficult. Some of them could have been like, wow, that was cool. And where you thought you were going regarding your fifth house kept shifting. Uranus came, picked you up, and shifted you 180 degrees, and another 90 degrees, and another 180. You just upside down. It twirled and twirled and twirled. Uranus is feast or famine. It's a roller coaster ride. You could have gotten a partner who was batshit crazy, um, or you could have gotten a really, really needy codependent partner, or he just when he's in this area, he just brings you all these partners. Or it could have been your child. You could have gotten pregnant and had a child, and it's been a roller coaster, maybe fun, exciting, but it's been a roller coaster ride with that, or even pet. Maybe some of you got into a career or something regarding pets, and since you do rule the military and the government, maybe some of you became canine officers. Hey, there you go. Or in the military, you handled canines. Uh, but that kept happening. Well, Uranus is going to leave Taurus. Yay! And that instability that you've been feeling, that Capricorns don't like, will end with the exit of Uranus from Taurus. But it can manifest. For some, it can just, the leave and nothing major will happen. For others, because Uranus is so unpredictable, it can have a few more surprises up its sleeve before it is done with Taurus. Um, so we'll brace for that, and we'll go through the alignments and see where there might be some shocks or surprises. But it is going to be some type of an ending, a finale, uh, because it is going to be at the very critical 29th degree of Taurus. And when it ends, it ends. It's an ending, period. And for you, some of you, maybe it's a child leaving off to school, or uh, no one can predict death, absolutely, God forbid. Um, but maybe something about your pet. Maybe you get really busy with this new career and you change homes and you have to refoster your pet. I hope not. Uh, or if it's a romance, either ends or it ends and turns into something else. Okay, Capricorn? So something in that area. Then it'll go into your very, very busy, very chaotic house, sixth house of health, your habits, your daily habits, your routine, your scheduling. Taking care of someone is involved here. Even pets. Again, pets is that as well. It is a Gemini ruled house. And Gemini rules all types of communication, thinking, social media, uh, the news, contracts and agreements, um, and the social butterfly. So what's going to happen for you is you're going to have abrupt shifts and cycles regarding one of these areas. Maybe you go into communication or the news field, or maybe you start maybe a social media, or maybe you start learning something. But again, um, it's not Virgo or Sagittarius, so this is micro learning certain things. Maybe go into the nursing field and it's a whole different lexicon, and you start studying that as far as if it's language or something. But the sixth house is it's going to make you um, because, like I said, you're so steady and slow. It's going to teach you how to think on your feet, how to change from defense mode to forward action, attack mode, for lack of better words. It's going to be in shocking and surprising ways. So yeah, maybe you'll start working for a lawyer who's really famous and calls you at 8 p.m. and says, "Okay, you gotta come in. We gotta do this motion to stay. If not, that's it. We lose our career." And maybe you're the partner and you have to go and do an all-nighter. It's just an example, but because health is involved in this house, um, and it's health of the body and the mind, so your psyche and your physical health. The rule is of the sixth house, you separate the sixth house into three different category areas: 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours of fun and relaxation. And you might not be able to do that with Uranus here. It doesn't do go by the books, uh, and you might be burning the candle at both ends. But um, just watch that, because if your physical health is not in shape for this, you won't be able to have your mind at ease. If you are mentally in a bad spot, your psyche, then you will start seeing that with physical ailments. So both body and mind has to be in sync. So that's the only thing I'm going to caution you with, and you look for that. Okay, and then now, next major alignment is after a year of Jupiter being in Gemini. That is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling, blah blah blah. That has been expanding and growing, um, so much so that last year when Jupiter turned retrograde, or this year, when it turned retrograde, you were thankful for that, because it gave you a reprieve, a slowdown, to review. But when it's going forward in Gemini, it's going to expand again, your sixth house of busyness and routine. But that ends. Oh, and any health issues if there was health stuff. But Jupiter is the protector, so you were mostly, for the most part, protected in this sixth house. And Jupiter then in June will leave Gemini and enter Cancer, your seventh house of partners. And this is going to expand this house for you, very, very much so. Like I said, Jupiter is the planet of a largesse, optimism, hopeful, and expansion. Um, and you're going to, and since it's Cancer, you might be, and Cancer is the home and family, the mother, you might meet someone through family, through your mother, or somehow the mother is, or family is still somehow pa- partners with you. You might start a family business, maybe. But in any case, this house for you is set to expand starting June. And again, you'll be protected here. Jupiter is protected. If there are any issues, if you have any issues with a partner, a current partner, um, and again, please, people, don't freak out on me. I'm just, if there are issues, there are issues. So if there are issues with a partner, Jupiter will expand that, because, like I told you, Jupiter protects you, so it wants the best for you and the partner. So it'll expand problems so that you guys can either fix it or go your separate ways. So that's the only time that Jupiter might seem bad, again, air quotes, for some. But for the most part, it is a protective planet, a benefic planet. And Jupiter is said to be exalted in Cancer. It loves Cancer. Um, and again, this theme of a big family, of blending of families, or a new family member somehow is incorporated in here. Interesting. Maybe you guys can comment and tell me if you have a clue. But it's Cancer, and again, it harkens back to this Mars in Cancer episode we're having. Whatever issues you had back in October and November regarding a partner, or a family, or a matriarch, and whatever is going to happen between January and March, because Mars is going to still be in Cancer. It's all interrelated. And also, if you want to have a clue, Jupiter does a tour of each sign for 1 year. So it takes 12 years to complete the zodiac wheel. So think back 12 years ago. You'll have that same theme of expansion regarding your home and family. Of course, it'll not be the exact same thing that'll happen, because planets were doing other things then, but it will have that flavor. So just to give you, for those of you who want a clue about that. Okay, so now we're going to go straight into your yearly alignment. And again, I'll only touch on the main important aspects. Um, and we start with, let me see my time. Okay, who cares about time? All my videos are like becoming big. Okay, so February, we did January. So February 1st, Venus conjoins Neptune in Pisces. Pisces is your third house of community, um, and neighbors, siblings, and social media. Your communication and thinking can be like dreamy, and your words can be healing, or excuse me, people will, when you speak, it'll sound like honey to their ears. Only thing is, it also includes your commuting and maybe social media followers. Um, can completely maybe have you infatuated or mesmerized, or you them. Just be careful with daydreaming when you commute. I'm not like I'm being be careful. Or now that we have some severe weather coming in, because it's still the winter months. Some areas maybe snowed out, white out. I think they call it white out or fog or what. So just be careful with commuting. Okay. Uh, okay. What am I doing here? Oh yeah. All right. And then on the also on the first, Venus will conjunct the North Node in Pisces. So yeah, so there's something, and it's getting closer to the last critical degree of Pisces. So we're getting to the ending of whatever's going on in your third house. On the fourth, Venus will enter Aries. Pay attention, Capricorn, here, because this will give you a clue on what Neptune will be doing once it enters Aries. Aries is your fourth house of home, family, and your physical home. You don't have to have a home. You can be in an apartment. Um, but Venus attracts money, love, romance, fortune, fame, and all that. So if you had issues, it'll start generically. This is generically, but pay attention to this transit because it'll give you a clue about, Neptune entering for 14 years in Aries. Um, but generically, it could also be money is coming in through your family. Uh, and actually, this might not be generic for you, Capricorn, because um, you have had some important, again, female mother figure, strong matriarch figure, because it's Aries, um, that you have actually had help from monetarily. Okay, um, so this might bring money in through them, her, especially if they are associated with a Leo or a Leo figure. Um, could be inheritance. Um, in any case, just watch starting the 4th. All right, I'm going to skip to March 13th. Very important. Total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Virgo is your ninth house of long distance travel, foreigners, foreign lands, higher education, publishing, and the World Wide Web. So this is an ending, period, full stop. It is a total lunar eclipse. It's not a full moon. And it is clearing out this house of long distance travel, foreigners, and because there is something new that'll start here. So, an ending or close to an ending, because we do have more eclipses. Because, yeah, it's still at 23 degrees. Okay. On the 19th, the sun conjuncts Neptune in Pisces at 29 degrees. All right. So, red flags, it's coming to the ending here, but it is a feel good, warm feeling that embodies you because it's the sun and it is illuminating. It can be very cathartic. This illuminates for you and others something of a release, a completion regarding something about your neighborhood, the neighbors, your close knit community, um, siblings here, or cousins, or communication style, social media. This is the critical 29th degree. It is the sun, the nurturing father. And this has an ending of a very comforting, for most of the time. Um, it has been a very comforting journey that you started back since 2012. It is a watershed moment, but I don't think it would be a watershed moment for you. You don't cry. No, I'm joking. It is a watershed moment in a turning point in your life, a life altering ending here, a healing through forgiveness of the past, of the insecurities, of the harshness you experienced, of the beliefs that were, you were disillusioned by, and you endured the harshness that you endured. Definitely, you truly understand what faith, whether you are religious or not, you understand what it is here. It's bittersweet, it's sympathetic, it's a compassionate ending. You will realize that Neptune softening this area for you for these past carrying you through this journey is is has been very cathartic. It's been very helpful. You'll no longer hate Neptune here, is what I'm trying to say, because you had to be stuck in this community or neighborhood that you hated, or something about that, and that ends, and you're nostalgic almost. And whatever it is, remember, Saturn is still in Pisces. He's still supporting you to the end of this trip, of this ending. On the 27th, Venus retrograde will enter Pisces. So it entered Aries, your home and family, and it started retrograding over those degrees of Aries. And now it's retrograding all the way back into Pisces. Uh, Again, to complete the 29th degree of an ending in your Pisces related journey. On the 27th, Venus retrograde will conjoin Neptune in Pisces. We're at 29 degrees 53 minutes, the ending. So as you are still reviewing your Neptune journey towards the end, and it maybe brings something back from the past um, regarding your third house of community, which will be like a trip, a memory lane, but it will have the theme of an ending. It could be you end up in your old neighborhood by chance, or your work stations you there, or something like that. And because you are in a new place and a new space in your life, you could be seeing the separation you've had as nostalgic, bittersweet. If you see something that's been run down, like let's say for example your school, you might see it as run down. You'll feel that compassion. Or if you see your grammar school all nice and cool, you'll be like, oh, I wish I saw it as run down, something like that, because you've had a love hate relationship regarding something about your third house. And whatever happens here around this date, it is for Capricorns very nostalgic. Venus retrogrades can be harsh because she reverses or withholds um, love and harmony when she is reversing, but she can also bring something or someone from the past too. So you could have someone, a friend, maybe a teacher, maybe a neighbor, or maybe it could be a love interest, a child, maybe coming back during this time too, and maybe in a regretful way. And Neptune is engulfing you with compassion. You could also experience this through others, but it is very powerful. Could manifest in nostalgic or magical dreams, like dreams that can feel really, really real, where you get another peek or understanding through that veil. The one thing about Capricorns is you guys are very, very reserved. Like I said, you don't like showing emotion, and you absolutely hate it or are bewildered as to why people get emotional or cry, because that is how you may have been raised or conditioned, like to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and figure it out. Uh, so you would rather expend that energy of on solving things rather than crying about it. Of course, not everyone is like you though, and you realize that. But and as a matter of fact, you are, like I said, truly compassionate and caring. Most of you have a secret place where you hide and you bawl your heart out, and that might be what happens with this flashback regarding a neighborhood or a community that you have hated so much, but subconsciously loved so much because it has made you who you are. Neptune has helped you blur those harsh lines as Pluto was writing you to destroy those memories, well, to face them and deconstruct them to make you stronger. So that is why I say it will be a cathartic healing, a watershed moment that will really help you heal. Again, this is setting you up for the end of the month when Neptune enters Aries and you become this compassionate warrior or hero for your home and family. uh, or on a bigger scale, if you're in politics or whatever, for your country. Uh, so you are needed again, okay? Your strong shoulders that everybody cries on is needed again, but not like it was with Pluto, where you had this immense pressure. No, it is Neptune. It will feel good, like a vacation. It'll feel like an escape, like like you're being idealized, romanticized in some way. Um, um, that maybe growing up you didn't have that. You will actually enjoy setting that up for your family. If you are living with parents, or even if you are living alone, your family is set to expand somehow, and you will move. Even if you have, like I said, recently moved, you will move again. But this is on a bigger level, Capricorn, on a bigger scale, and it is a mixture of something, either a new family member, an uh, old family member, combined family. Um, uh, it definitely is for most of you. Like I said, a matriarchal figure that you do really care a lot about. For others, it is two women. Like I said, um, And there is a water theme that will be very prevalent here, um, Capricorn. Anyway, I'll do a dedicated video for Neptune and Saturn and Aries for each sign later. And this time, I'll probably upload yours second because I promised Sagittarius I'll do theirs first. Um, or maybe I'll just do, backwards. I'll go Pisces backwards to Aries because I know astrologers really start with Aries, and you winter signs are always last. I'm sorry. All right. So the 29th, we see a partial solar eclipse in Aries. And see, here it begins a new beginning, a sneak peek of how your energy is being called upon by both the sun and the moon regarding your family, regarding this hero complex. Well, not complex, idealism. Um, this is an exciting thing because it's fire, it's Aries. Um, but it is like a very beautiful vision. On the 30th, Neptune then enters Aries, and we see Neptune entering Aries, and you instantaneously, sometimes I can't speak, are relieved of that like heaven melancholy uh, depth regarding community, commuting, any regrets, and home and family reign supreme here. The fire is lit up under you. All right, on April 4th, Saturn in Pisces sextiles Uranus in Taurus. Healing, support, regeneration. The last 7 years of feast and famine and surprises ends with a love, romance, child creativity, or starts to end because you're at 24 degrees. Here is the winding down, exactly. Saturn is also approving of this ending or culmination because he is your ruler and your protector. Uh, so he knows what's best here. And if it is a complete ending, or he is setting you up for stability because Uranus has worked against your slow and steady wins the race pace. So there could have been mistakes made here, um, or it could have be, or like I said, it could be taking it to another level because your fifth house is set to do a grand finale here. Like I mentioned, on the fourth, Mars in Cancer, your seventh house of partners, and Cancer also rules the mother and family. Trine Saturn and Pisces, your third house of communication, um, sibling, social media, and also rules the house of the past. So healing and good vibes are all rolling in with all these planets with the sextiles and the trines and all that great stuff. You might even meet someone from your close knit community, neighborhood, or through siblings or cousins, or through maybe your family. Hmm. At first, this meet might be accidental, or you may not even think about it. But later on, events happen, or you'll keep bumping into this person or people that makes you go, hmm. Because remember, in June, Jupiter will leave Gemini and enter your seventh house of partners. Uh, depends on your natal chart, but there was something else I wanted to say here, and I can't remember now. Well, it was probably not that important. Okay, so this. Oh yes, this is what I wanted to say. So remember, partners is not only like intimate partners or contractual partners. It could be business partners, platonic partners, anyone who really knows you, etc., etc., and etc. Um, and la la la. Yeah, this can also be maybe a family business, or family is helping you with a business because your money sector is going to blow up. Your career is going to blow up. So this is really cool. And since Uranus is entering Gemini, there's a dual theme here. All right, let's move on. Seventh, because I do detailed monthly horoscopes, so we will be doing that. Saturn conjuncts Venus in Pisces. So we see another Saturn Venus conjunction, but now it's at a later degree of Pisces. Um, I think the first was in March. Again, Saturn loves Venus, but it's serious here. Um, so it's winding down its exit from Pisces and regarding this ending. On the 18th, Mars enters Leo. Heat, urgency, action regarding joint finances, taxes, a mortgage, inheritance, intimacy, or it could be a lot of sex. But no, but seriously, this is now Mars, confident, direct regarding your eighth house. Um, and that yet you have been dealing with since November, December. Okay, because Mars was direct and retrograde. Excuse me. Could be that your partner is dipping too much into joint finances here, maybe. Could be merging joint accounts because of an engagement or marriage. It could be separating joint finances because of a breakup. Could be setting up to buy a bigger home because the mortgage is here. Remember, I talked about the family home. But you are working on something here and gearing up for the third and final showdown with Pluto. Brrr. Wah. um, Again, partnership could also include business and platonic. On the 20th, Sun in Taurus, your fifth house of love, romance, children, squares Mars in Leo, your eighth house of intimacy, the mortgage, joint finances, taxes. Uranus is now at Taurus, 26 degrees. Um, but this is the sun. So the sun is illuminating your fifth house for you and everyone, including you do your annual checkup here. The sun always goes into Taurus at this time, around this time. So it's your annual checkup, but this is illuminating some kind of an ending for you and everyone to see what is going on. It could be regarding also intimate secrets or taboos, because that's what the eighth house also rules. Only caution here is because this is in regards to a final ending that's coming, and because Uranus, planet of shock and surprise, is still in Taurus at 26 degrees, and your image, Neptune and Saturn being in Aries. I know that's your fourth house, but Aries is natally, it's about image and appearance. And also, Taurus, regardless that it's your fifth house of love and romance, also rules money and values. We have Leo, who is a father figure. All this is involved in this hot mess. Well, I hope there isn't going to be a shotgun wedding, is what I'm trying to say. But seriously, if you do not want any pregnancies, I'm warning you, and I think it's Sagittarius, um, uh, to be careful. If you don't want it, um, yeah, if you don't want it, for the love of God, be careful because this will be a very sticky, explosive, hot mess. Uh, if you don't want it, but if you want it, that changes the story. Anyway, this is all gearing up for the final showdown, the final opposition, final fight with Pluto. Third time is a charm, and hopefully this opposition will be a good one. So let's see. And here we go. The 26th, the 26th of April. Um, the screen is going on. Mars in Leo. Mars is direct now. It's not retrograde. Will oppose Pluto in Aquarius exactly at 3 degrees 48 minutes. So, excuse me. You can feel this even up to a week before or a few days later, a week after. Depends on your natal chart, your rising sign. But we have the final showdown here between Mars and Leo versus Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. Um, Mars, I told you, is fearless. He is fearless, and he will come at Pluto. And Pluto welcomes the destruction of something in your eighth house because it is opposite your second house of values and income, which is Aquarius, and Pluto is in Aquarius. Uh, but that's why Mars spent 6 months going back and forth over these degrees. So you know when to be still and disciplined, like Pluto uh, wants, and you know when to push and be firm. All right. Uh, but it is a finale. Okay, and on the 30th, Venus will re-enter Aries direct. All right, there you go. So whatever this fight happens, and you have all these uh, groups and circles and family and whatever here supporting you through this showdown. And we can see Venus re-entering Aries direct in your home and family, uh, and whatever fallout you may have had from the past regarding home and family and parents. Now you go forward with reconciliations, coming back, resolutions, or it could be family comes in with uh, hits the jackpot, and you're like, "Oh, yippee!" Or it's an inheritance. It could be an inheritance, or your image may have took a hit because remember, Aries rules image, and now Venus is improving it through family somehow. If it has something to do with a past lover related to the past or family, you either release each other because remember, when Venus goes retrograde, it brings in past lovers. It's famous for doing that. And Venus rarely does a retrograde. And it's all happening with these new energies, these big new shifts. So if it does bring in a past lover, you either release each other after this retrograde period. So now it's going direct. So here is when you're like, all right, I have my closure, everything's fine. Or it can be like all right, we went through the toughest and the hardest, and I think we can survive this because it's coinciding with Uranus shocking and surprises in your fifth house of love and romance, even though there's an ending there too. All right, in May, Venus conjuncts Neptune in Aries. Very dreamy, very lovely, longing, but it's a connection here regarding home and family. The hero, the compassionate warrior, blah, blah, blah. But it's lovely. Saturn enters Aries on the 24th in May. And remember, I told you, Saturn is your ruler and it helps you. It gives you these tools right in the beginning so there's no blurred lines, no deception or illusion that Neptune can get away with too much. Okay? June 9th, Jupiter enters Cancer. Boom! It expands. Jupiter is very powerful here. Like I said, it's exalted in Cancer, absolutely loves being Cancer. Um, so it's going to expand joint finances, intimacy, inheritance, government benefits. It will be inclusive, probably, of family again, or the mother, a strong mother matriarch thing here going on, because you have a lot of this family, because Cancer rules, like I said, the mother and the family natally. And then you have Neptune and Saturn in Aries, the family again. And we did that Mars long back and forth in Cancer and Leo. So that's why I keep harping on about that. So sorry, but you guys will probably tell me otherwise in the comments. But you are protected here, and this protection is coming in from Jupiter. Jupiter protects. It's coming in regarding your eighth house. It could be, let me see, la la la. Yeah, if you are getting married, though, it could be, well, it could be the mother in law, maybe. And maybe that's where the combination comes in, the mother in law and your mother, or your mother and this person. So merging of finances. So naturally, if Jupiter is going to expand your eighth house, then joint finances will expand with a merger. Um, maybe maybe you get a really rich mother-in-law. I don't know. Or if it is a separation or a divorce, because remember, Jupiter also expands any issues. Yes, it's a benefic planet. Yes, it protects, and Jupiter can be protecting you down the line. So if there are any issues, it will expand these problems and issues so that it protects you and the other. I mentioned that. Anyway, you'll have, though, benefactors through family and the mother again, like a Capricorn. I can't keep stressing this enough, because the eighth house rules money that you receive from others that you haven't worked for. And it's usually in lump sums. So think back to the past 2 years that was going on. That's going to now repeat and expand for some of you for some reason. And it also is inclusive of government grants, benefits, school grants, stipends, retirement, disability, and blah blah blah. All right. Mars in Leo squares Uranus in Taurus. Oh, lordy, lordy, this doesn't stop. All right, so Mars is direct now. It's in Leo. It's in your house of foreigners, long distance travel. Leo is the father figure, and it is not liking what's going on in your house of love, romance, children, and creativity, and it's in somehow related with your value system. La, 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 la. And these are 28 degrees 54 minutes, almost like a few minutes before the critical last degree. So something happens here on the 15th, around the 15th, that might end something in your fifth house of love and romance. The 15th, Jupiter in Cancer squares Saturn in Aries. Oh, good lord. um, well, this can be a partnership expansion, um, but there's a square from Saturn, who's in your family, home and family. So this could be an expansion that Saturn is warning you about, or trying, maybe because of this combination of family. Saturn is just giving you a heads up. He's giving you tools, like I told you in the beginning. So, because of maybe this expansion of this combining things, you would naturally see tension in setting this up. All right, on the 18th, Jupiter in Cancer now will square Neptune in Aries. Listen, Capricorn, these squares are some type of a wake up call, because of Jupiter's protection, naturally. And Saturn's pulling you back for some reason. Again, here, it may be a strong mother figure, um, probably your family, your mother, could be a partner's mother, who may be a strong Aries firebrand. Okay. They're fiery, they explode. That is helping you both idealize and realize a perfect home and family. And yes, Jupiter does protect, but it also, like I said, expands problems. So uh, here it is expanding a partnership issue, maybe to clear up any confusion in regards to maybe a hopeful or optimistic view regarding a home and family situation. But because it's a square again, you may misunderstand either the idealism or the supposed protection. Because remember, it is Neptune's, fogginess and Jupiter's protection, and thus a blow up of a heated, tense, maybe argument, or a blow up of your confusion about all this. And this is a tense aspect. So even if you are in a solid relationship, there is an issue here regarding home, family, parents, and joint finances, inheritance, or taxes, or government something. Oh boy, Capricorn. Just use self discipline. You are ruled by Saturn, after all. So do not rise up to any heat and Aries. And what you've learned with compassionate listening, listen. Okay. Um, and I don't want to like scare anyone, but then again, there are millions of Capricorns with many varied lifestyles, and I want to cover all bases. When I got into astrology, and maybe it's because of my own style, I actually didn't appreciate astrologers sugarcoating things that may be serious. I wanted to know the worst of it and then figure it out on my own, do my own sugarcoating. So if you guys want sugarcoating, I'm probably not your girl. I mean, if your life is great and during the recent past and this summer everything is peachy keen, then you should be fine and not interpret this that way. Uh, because, like I said, if you're solid as a rock with a partner or partners, and this may be just a normal tension of families blending. So that's why I don't want any nasty comments about my warnings. There's a lot of Capricorns out there, and I think knowledge is empowering. Anyway, that's that's my 2 cents. July, Uranus enters Gemini. So yay, stability and calmness comes to your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. You are able to now have fun without fearing things. And you can now concentrate on a very exciting and busy health and routine regimen. Hallelujah. This will start teaching you how to change on a dime regarding a very busy routine and schedule. And because you are set on this expansion of your money and an invigorating, fast paced career, your sixth house of chaos and routine has to be in good operating and steady order. Remember, for you, it is all about steady and consistency. And, and since Uranus does not do slow and steady, you have to adjust your mind to compartmentalize these chaotic routines or happenings that will shift abruptly. If there is any gossip, because this is the house of gossip, if there is any gossip here, just tune it out, block it out. You do not need that. On the 12th, Saturn retrogrades in Aries. So now you are going to be reviewing um, what works and what doesn't work, or this new shift. Um, you get a reprieve, so that when it goes forward, you set in motion in the correct course. Saturn gives you those tools. And of course, if there were any restrictions here, you get a reprieve too. On the 30th, Venus enters Cancer. Nice. So whatever tense issue that happened with Jupiter square Neptune and Saturn regarding a partner or partners or business partners, and with your family home, this starts to smooth over. And your partners and family will start seeing more money too here, because Venus attracts money. In August, on the 6th, Mars enters Libra. Heat, action, urgency with career and authority figures, and your reputation. Mars in Libra will trine Uranus in Gemini on the 8th. So the urgency regarding your career and status and with authority figures is demanding you to put yourself out there, maybe working overtime. But this actually helps you somehow with your schedule and routine. Don't ask me, it's Uranus. Surprises. Maybe you are given a new, more workable routine schedule by authority figures. Something about your job and career is linked to a group, okay, Capricorn? And they are somehow both geniuses and are diplomatic authority figures who care about the relationship they have with you. And yeah. Um, but on the same day, Mars in Libra opposes Saturn in Aries. Of course, here comes the spoiler, the party pooper, Saturn. No, seriously, because you are getting busy with a routine and it involves your job and career. Opposing Saturn, who is trying to get you to structure your ideal vision of home and family. So this may be a natural opposition because now there's a restructuring that needs to happen with your home and family. Or maybe your work and career is taking you away from home and family too much. And Saturn is warning you here. All right. On the 9th, Mars in Libra will oppose Neptune, also in Aries. So the same theme, but some you're confused about it because there's confusion. Mars is stronger here. Neptune is retrograde, and this is an opposition, but look for the monthly so that I can go into detail. On the 27th of August, Venus in Leo sextiles Uranus in Gemini, and Venus in Leo trines Neptune in Aries. This is very, very nice and pleasing and fortunate. And these are, believe it or not, main themes. I'm not doing like monthly, there's a lot more going on, trust me, but these are main themes. So, fortunate energies between your eighth house and your fourth house. Um, Again, it's Venus. So, money, fortune, fame, and maybe even love. Um, yeah, there's something about your income, your career, and family, maybe family business. Come, a lot of money is coming in here. This is amazing. You're seeing a booming here. Um, yeah, this is pretty cool. All right, now we go back to the past, okay? Starting September, because Saturn now retrogrades back into Pisces um, on the 1st. On the 4th, Mars in Libra will square Jupiter in Cancer. So this is the ongoing tension. Um, mhm. I'm just trying to like, have you seen the puppy that twists their head? And I'm just trying to look at this chart, and I'm like twisting my head. Um, anyway, this is like an ongoing tension between your career, where you want to take your career, um, where authority figures want to take you, um, and what is happening with your home and family. Just remember the caution regarding Jupiter's expansion. If you're not partnered, this tense aspect may result in you not being free to have a partner outside of this group or circle of job and career, uh, because you are so busy. Or, and again, it takes you away from a partner time wise. Or, what is it? It's a square. It is a square, and it's your partnership. Might be a business anyway. Um, yeah, we'll do look for it for the September horoscope, where I'll go in much, much more detail. And then on the 7th, again, the major theme here is a total lunar eclipse in Pisces. So a karmic event regarding an ending in your third house, really, a neighborhood, community, cousins, siblings, communication, commuting. Um, and it's a karmic eclipse. Maybe the field you're going in, it might be your communication device. It changes where the old one is obsolete, and you're using a much more futuristic one or something like that. Um, Again, look to the eclipse from September to give you a clue, because it is coinciding with a partial solar eclipse in Virgo in a few days. So here we go. On the 21st, you will have a partial solar eclipse, a sneak peek regarding a travel opportunity, higher education, foreigners, publishing. But there will be more eclipse to clear out what you already have in your ninth house, um, to bring in whatever this new partial sneak peek, partial opportunity is. Okay. On the 22nd, Mars enters Scorpio, heat and urgency and action with your friends. That's fine. On October 14th, Venus in Libra, 10th house of career and status, will trine Uranus in Gemini, your sixth house of scheduling. Venus in Libra will trine Pluto in Aquarius, your second house of job, income, and community. Job, income, and values. So with Mars in your friendship sector, remember, and it can also be about past or a secret, because Scorpio rules that, and Gemini shaking up your routine and scheduling, um, and you benefiting from your career or authority figures, Venus in Libra. So this could be a friend groups, maybe composed of authority figures and related to your job and career, is equating in some type of like a camaraderie, a brotherhood. That is the way forward, because it is pleasing Pluto. And it is also giving a boost to your routine. Mm-mm-mm-mm. So this may be your first Pluto and Aquarius test that you pass, but just make sure you are not blurring any lines. Um, not talking about Aries. Neptune. I'm talking about your friendship sector because it's Scorpio, and Scorpio tests, and Scorpio pushes down dark and deep secrets. Um, and if you are in any type of security, law enforcement, on either side of that, maybe you're a professional thief. Just be careful because with any illegal or questionable activity, as Pluto is in your second house of values, because Pluto can be nefarious, uh, like in approving this now because he wants you to face a fear and maybe setting you up for a bigger test in the future. So again, I'm not scaring anyone here, and if you're doing everything upright and everything's fine, you should be fine. There should be no question. And these are very nice, pleasing aspects. They're trines. I'm just, covering bases with Pluto being here. Okay. November 7th, Uranus goes back into Taurus. So reprieve and rest from busy routines that you've had um, for the past few months because you just got a sneak peek of it, how busy you're going to be. Now you'll be reviewing the ending regarding your fifth house back in the summer. Now closure, resolution, reconcilement, but mostly closure because it was an ending. All right. And the only reason I've highlighted the ninth regarding the Mercury retrogrades in Sagittarius, your house of secrets, and Scorpio, your house of friends, is just with retrogrades and especially Mercury, always have plan A, B, C, and D. Okay, don't plan for because things get reversed. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, that's all. Okay, so December, we enter December at that critical 29th degree of Pisces in your third house. You've gone through all that emotional closure and healing and fuzziness. Um, Now, why? Why do we have to go to the past again? Right? Like you probably are kicking the screen and kicking me figuratively because, like, oh, you got us all like this exact, and now you're going to take us back to the past. Okay, so we're going to the past with a brand new you, with a brand new and a lucrative job and career for you, and with the support of family and partners. And you have wealthy benefactors protecting you here, catching your fall. All right. This is a brand new world, Capricorn. It's not the old world. So this is just closing the book on the past and any feelings you have. Um, this is just making sure that you're okay here because, like I said, neighborhoods and it's going to change for you. Excuse me. You are to release the past, the melancholy, the bitterness, and move on because you are in a better, busier, peaceful place. You want to go into the future with your entire heart, not half of your heart. Because I've been saying this for everyone. If you go into the future holding on to the past and grabbing for the future, if you hold on to two things, you lose both things. And remember, Pluto is going to be testing you. So you want to release the past and go into the future with your entire heart, not with any luggage, so that the universe, like the vacuum scenario, you suck up all this new energy and these new amazing things that's happening for you. Money, there's a lot of money coming in from your own job and from partners and family, and you're going to move and you're going to have a huge, big place with this thriving energy, excuse me, energy environment, and you have this camaraderie, this brotherhood, and your image is getting boosted as this savior. So it's a lot of good things. Let go of the past, let go of the hurt, and you will because it's Pisces, it's compassionate. I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope I have not bored you. If you did enjoy it, consider subscribing or at least hitting the like button. That really does help me out. And I will be uploading those dedicated videos. I just have Aquarius and Pisces left. And then if you're subscribed, like I said, you'll get notified. Okay, Capricorn, please do go ahead and comment and let me know how it's been going for you guys. That also puts me in a good mood. Okay, you guys take care.